So today we're going to learn from Dr. Phil and Piers Morgan why cancel culture is one of the very worst things about modern society. Because there's nothing worse. Nothing. Like having, I don't know, your entire identity be the opinion of someone who has a relatively larger speaking voice than you, and have them to have horrible positions that can often incite violence and distress a lot of people's opinions about your group. Nothing is worse than cancel culture. Nothing. Let's find out what Dr. Phil and Piers Morgan have to say on the topic. This really promises to be hilarious. So, hey everyone, Future Terra here. I was kind of left in a rough position with this video because I got flagged. So I was given a couple of options. One included leaving the video in a state where it was blocked on mobile. Two included trying to fight it and waiting to see what happened. Three, I had the option to just cut the video out of context. And four was this option in which I can provide you all some context of what's missing so that I can keep the video relatively stabilized. So within the context of what you missed from this particular clip, Dr. Phil promotes Piers Morgan's book. He then proceeds on to talk about how he's financially tied to the Daily Mail and his connections and love of the Daily Mail in quite a sycophantic way, and then proceeds to quote from Piers Morgan's book, kind of the quote that would represent a lot of what I'm going over in this video, which is namely on page 60 of Piers Morgan's book, where he says, quote, "Cancel culture, as it's become known, is one of the very worst things about modern society, and it's driven by the same woke liberals who profess to stand for tolerance." End quote. With that said, let's get back to the video. I hope you understand what we had to do here. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy watching.
That's really kind of a bunch of bullies.
So which is more bullying? The position of having a large voice in society and having opinions about a group of people and whether or not their group deserves to have the right to exist and be who they are, or the people who are shouting out against that injustice to the person who has a really terrible opinion. Which one is the bully in that situation? Which one has the capacity to cause more harm? Because it's definitely not the one they think it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I say that as somebody who skews more liberal than to the right. I can't believe.
Did he just say he skews? Isn't the Daily Mail like an extremely right-wing paper? Hold up. Daily Mail media bias. Here we are. Yep. Not only is it right-wing, but it has really low factual reporting. So the fact that they're calling out this idea of cancel culture means that it's not as legitimate as they'd like to believe. In fact, I don't think much from the Daily Mail is anything worth looking at. So let's get back and hear what this liberal guy has to say. I always find it a little funny, by the way, when people who are in the center think that they're on the left, like actual liberals think that they're leftists because they support like one social democratic thing. And I love when people on the right actually think that they're in the center and like in the moderate position. I think it's also a little scary though, because we have such a lack of acknowledgement for the left in this country, and we've skewed so far right that what is right looks centrist, and what is centrist looks far left. And I wish we could just talk on that and actually change what that looks like, because we exist on the left. But anyway, what else does Piers Morgan have to tell us about things?
How my fellow liberals are behaving. What is liberal about cancelling everybody and anything that you don't happen to agree with? It's a complete nonsense. Now, I'm a very opinionated person, as you know, Dr.
Are they opinions? Or is it hate speech?
Dr. Phil. I write very opinionated columns. I just want to reserve the right under freedom of speech and the First Amendment to give an opinion. And
isn't he British? Isn't he British? He is, he's British. You don't have a First Amendment, my friend. You're part of the group of people that tried to prevent the First Amendment from happening, historically speaking. You don't get a First Amendment. Just saying. Did he somehow migrate across the pond? I mean, he's joining from London. Nationality is English. So, no, you don't get a First Amendment, my friend. You do not have that protection of free speech. Sorry.
And this really
I mean, I just cancelled him, didn't I? Literally. Yeah. I cancelled him. His position there.
insidious new culture means that almost anyone who is offended by anything can get on social media and say, hey, I'm offended. Cancel that person. Cancel that thing. And within...
Or maybe they're saying this particular person has a viewpoint that can really actively harm a lot of people, and it's not just an opinion, but usually is a place where it's hurting people, and we should kind of speak up against that and maybe try to get them to change their perspective. And while I'd argue that calling somebody out on Twitter probably isn't going to change their perspective, and may in fact further entrench people into certain positions, for a lot of celebrities type figures, there's no other way to really reach them. So the only thing you can do is just kind of alert people and hope that they get the message. Like, I don't want to speak to the efficacy of things like that. Like, I don't know how efficient it is. But at the very least, you're standing up for, and trying to at least stand up, for a group of people who don't deserve to have really terrible positions cast on them.
Seconds, minutes, hours, this enormous eruption builds on social media, driving other people to share this zealous lust to cancel people. And the one that really, I think, exemplified this perfectly was J.K. Rowling, who, they tried to cancel. She's a billionaire author. You can't cancel a billionaire author.
Doesn't that say something that you can't cancel a billionaire author? Then maybe the goal wasn't to cancel her. Maybe the goal was to speak on the fact that she had really, really genuinely harmful and terrible positions about trans people. Maybe she genuinely thought trans people were not good people and that they weren't just opinions, but were actually attempts to, whether purposefully or not, harm trans people. And when she was called out for it, she doubled down, then she tripled down on it, and then she wrote a book about it. Yeah, I'm not going to put that on people calling that out. That's not bullying. You are not bullied. Nobody censored you. Nobody said you can't talk anymore or we're going to beat you up. They just said you're kind of a terrible person for this particular perspective and you're denying people's rights. You didn't really lose much there. Especially with your relative position in power. We're not talking about attacking like a small content creator. We're talking about attacking J.K. Rowling's position that was really terrible.
She'll keep writing books. But what was really bad about that, I felt, was the way that her right to have an opinion about this raging gender debate was not just silenced by the woke brigade.
It wasn't silenced, it wasn't taken down, it was spoken out against. You are not removed from criticism for your speech. You are not removed from having your voice spoken out against. That is not canceling someone, that is saying your position is wrong, and here's why it is wrong.
but they actually began a hashtag, RIP J.K. Rowling. They wanted her dead.
Nobody actually wanted to kill her, from what I understood about that. It was literally a representation of death of the author so that people who were trans and found magical things in Harry Potter, and not just trans people, but like people in general who didn't want to associate her with that book, could enjoy it kind of in a more guilt-free way by representing the author as dead. It's clearly a case of death of the author. So yeah, nobody was actually advocating her actual physical death that I am aware of.
Because she had an opinion they didn't agree with.
No, she denied medical facts and science and went against the lived realities of an entire group of people and then claimed, well, I have a right to it because it's my turfy opinion.
Well, what percentage of the population is on Twitter?
So it's about 20% in the US and the UK. And of the 20% that are on it, only 10% make 80% of the Twitter noise. Most people don't agree with.
I can't tell because I've never really watched Dr. Phil that much. If that face right there is him just like, is this my life right now? Or if it's a level of, like, if that's just his normal face. Like, I don't know, because I haven't really watched him. But that face, like, hits me with, are we really seriously doing this crap right now? Is this really my life right now?
Cancel culture. The vast majority want cancel culture cancelled.
Well, the vast majority of people, you heard it here from Piers Morgan, who's completely factual with his media bias rating of low, that cancel culture should be canceled. And that we shouldn't speak out for groups of people who are otherwise hurt, harmed, put down, or bullied by the opinions of other people, and that by us bullying back, we're the real bullies. No, you don't get to pull that. Well, with that said, my name is Anarchistara. I hope you all don't cancel me. If you still like what I'm doing and don't want to cancel me, make sure you give a like to this video. Comment below if you think cancel culture is not really cancel culture. And with that said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was a little bit more lighthearted considering everything. And I hope that we don't have to cancel people anymore because people stop making terrible positions on things. Have a great day.